He was the first pope to enter a synagogue, a mosque, and an Orthodox church, the first to celebrate Mass with the Archbishop of Canterbury, and to speak to the world in 12 languages. He lived through war. He saw faith crumble in people and kept his own. He forgave his assassin and became the voice of faith for millions. Karol Joseph Wojtyła, the future Pope John Paul II, was born on May 18, 1920, in the small Polish town of Wadowice. His father, Karol Wojtyła Sr., was an officer in the Polish army, strict yet fair. His mother, Emilia Kaczorowska, was the heart of the family, fragile, with a weak heart, but a strength that came from deep faith. Their home was modest, yet filled with warmth and prayer. When Karol was 8, his mother died. 3 years later, his brother Edmund, a doctor, died while saving a patient. Only he and his father remained, a man of few words, but with a faith that needed none. Every evening they knelt before an image of the Virgin Mary. Later he would say, "Everything I learned about God, I learned by watching my father pray." At 20, he lost his father too. He was a diligent student, loved literature, history, and the theater. In his youth, he wrote poetry and dreamed of becoming an actor. He performed on the Krakow stage and believed that art could bring people closer to God. When his friends learned he had decided to become a priest, Karol told them simply, "I am not worthy, but if God calls, one must answer." Then the war began. The university was closed. To avoid deportation, he went to work at a quarry and a chemical plant. By day, he carried stones. By night, he read scripture. In the cellars of Krakow, a secret seminary, organized by Archbishop Sapieha. After the war, he was ordained a priest. Young, focused, with a clear mind, he went to Rome to study theology. When he returned, he served in parishes, taught ethics, wrote books, and spoke simply, yet people listened. At 38, he became a bishop. At 43, the Archbishop of Krakow, quickly known for his wisdom and diplomacy. He could speak to power, not by yielding, but by persuading. In October 1978, he flew to Rome alone, on a simple visa issued as a tourist. The Polish authorities tried to stop him, but no one could stop destiny. His election came as a surprise, even to him. He refused the tiara, a symbol of papal power, and from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, he spoke not to the world, but to the people. "Dear brothers and sisters, do not be afraid. Open wide the doors to Christ." He didn't just speak of peace, he built it. In 1979, he returned to Poland and said, "Let your spirit descend and renew the face of the earth. This earth." Those words became the spark that ignited the Solidarity movement. A revolution without weapons, without blood, that tore down the walls of communism. In Assisi, 1986, under one sky, he gathered those who had argued about God for centuries, rabbis, muftis, Buddhist monks, Christians of every tradition, all praying side by side. He called it the prayer for peace, and showed that faith can unite, not divide. He spoke out against the wars in Iraq and the Balkans, condemned terror and torture, and before the fall of the Berlin Wall, he called to Europe, "Do not be afraid to be free." He spoke to presidents and to the homeless alike, reminding the world that true strength lies not in fear, but in forgiveness. Later, he would prove it when he forgave the man who came to kill him. May 13, 1981, St. Peter's Square. A gunshot, a scream, white robes stained with blood. He survived, and 2 years later, he walked into the cell of the gunman. Not as a judge, not as a victim, but simply as a man who reached out his hand. "I spoke to him as a brother I had forgiven." Later, that man would embrace Christianity, and John Paul II would remain faithful to his calling, to be close to people wherever they were. He walked a path from the quarry to the Vatican, from the silence of prayer to a voice heard around the world. They called him the Pope of Peace, but perhaps he was simply reminding us that faith is not about power, it's about love. And when he was gone, millions repeated his words as a simple prayer. "Do not be afraid. Open wide the doors to Christ." The story doesn't end. We're the ones continuing it. Follow, pilgrim, if you wish to walk further down the road of history.